yes. And then bring that to there. And it says that we are live.
Yeah, I got notification.
Okay. I'm going to turn on the old amplifier here, guys. Play something new tonight. If you guys can't tell, we have a new toy. If I can get it over by the camera and you can see the sign on it. It is a brand new, well, it's not new, it's used. New toy. Now, before the live stream, I was tinkering around, and I noticed with the overhead mic here, it makes a big difference in the sound of the guitar. So listen to the guitar. Now, this is the overhead. It's about 8 foot away from the actual cabinet. Now, there is a channel strip on that with an expansion gate to cut out some of the room noise. Now I'm just going to switch over to the SM57 Beta, which is tonight about only 3 foot away from the cabinet, and I have the microphone facing upwards. It's not at the cone. So let's hear just what that mic sounds like. back to our overhead. And then we're going to put both of them together, but I'm going to try to blend. I'm going to take a little bit of this mic out and try to bring it down and try to blend it. I do have my headphones on so I can kind of hear. What do you guys think of this thing?
Devastator wants to know if they're active pickups.
No. These are Seymour Duncans. And I didn't look up actually what Seymour Duncans are in it. Let me take these things off because I have a hard time hearing with those on. Now, full disclosure, guys.
Wait a minute. Ronnie Sampson says, no, you didn't buy that. Is that the Chapman?
Yes, I did buy the Chapman. Ronnie, I did buy the Chapman. This is the Chapman. I bought it. Mr. Chapman. I actually went, again, free plug to my local music store. I went down, and I'm going to show you all what I actually went to buy. I actually went to buy this little fancy thing. Now, it's going to make a bunch of noise. Notice the microphone is above me tonight. It's not out here in my face. So I'm trying to get things a little better each week. We can modify things, make it a little more presentable. Here's what I bought. I was worried about my mic when I turned it upside down. It was going to fall out of the cradle. So if it makes a bunch of noise, guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to move the mic down. So I bought a big cradle for my microphone. And I'm sure it's going to make a bunch of noise because I'm moving the mic. And it's a suspension. You can see how it kind of rocks in there. And it's a big clamp in here that clamps onto the microphone. And then the plug goes right into the top of it. It is extremely slick. So I actually went down to buy that. You know, to have something that I could put up here out of the way, but still be able to pick up my voice decently. And one of those things, you go into a music store, met some friends, and those friends had since told me that they did some trade-ins to the local music store, and this was one of them. And before he left, now I'm not sure if Ronnie here is the original owner or not, because there were two people at the store today. Okay, one of which just become a subscriber when I was there. I told him about the channel,
I'm pretty sure it is.
and the other one I had already previously sold a guitar to, and I'd been friends with prior. So
He said I am.
yeah, so Ronnie is the original owner of this guitar, and Ronnie, I hope that you did not get rid of this guitar due to its playing action. Because I think you had already left the store, okay? And they brought the guitar out to me. And as soon as I put the guitar in my hand, I noticed the setup on this guitar was way off. There was an extreme amount of neck relief. I was going to do all that on the live stream, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to do a real quick setup on this guitar before the live.
He said no, too many. I guess he just has too many guitars.
Yeah, that's okay, man. Because I asked them about it, and they said, no, we know it needs a setup. And I said, well, I'll just take it the way it is. And they were cool with that. So the relief on this neck, believe it or not, was probably 1.5 millimeters. It had a tremendous amount of relief. The low E on the 12th was set at 0.09, and the high E was 0.083. It was crazy high. So I did just a really quick 15-minute setup. The truss rod was so far out, I don't think it could be a whole turn that I had to turn the truss rod to get this neck down to, it's about 0.2, 0.1 millimeters of relief. Usually when a neck is that far out and you make an adjustment, it'll usually go the opposite direction. You should kind of bring it up a little bit along, maybe quarter turn, wait a week, quarter turn, wait a week, quarter turn, wait a week. But I'm a little impatient, so I went ahead and just cranked it up. We'll have to check it in about a week or 2 weeks and see how the guitar stabilizes. But it is quite nice. I don't know if you can tell. It's kind of hard to see in the light. It turns purple.
It turns all kinds of colors.
It actually, there's some green in it too. When you get it in just the right color. It's kind of weird. The LED lights that I use, I've got them turned down right now to only like 20%. But when you put the light in it, it's got purple, blue, some pink, a little bit of like that blue-green.
It's got like a copper color.
Yeah, and Linnell's like a copper. Now, here's the bad news about this guitar. And this is horrible news. Well, I'm going to qualify that. It's horrible news for this guy, okay? This is not my guitar. I'm going to give everyone 2 guesses on who actually purchased this guitar today. Yeah, this is Linnell's brand new guitar. Now, Linnell has a black Firefly on the wall right now that I've hot rodded, and I put Epiphone Pro Bucker pickups in it. I did a fret job on that guitar. Very nice guitar. But when they brought this guitar out, after Ronnie left, Ronnie, I thought he was going to stick around while they got the guitar, and they brought the guitar out. I'm looking around, I'm like, where'd he go? So I don't know if he had a previous arrangement, but he just gone. So she hands me the guitar, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm looking at it, and Linnell's like, wow, that thing is like really pretty. Look at the color shift on that. And I'm playing it, and she got the girl that works there, I forget her name. She looked at me, she goes, what do you think? And I said, well, I think the guitar needs a setup. And I really didn't go there to buy a guitar. I went to buy the little mic thing from my mic. And I handed it back, and Linnell looked at me and she said, I want that guitar. Well, like Jerry says, we know who wears the pants in the family, because when she said that, I'm like, okay, well, we're going to get you a new guitar. So I came home and give it a quick setup for her. It's got a hip shot bridge. And from what I can tell, I did not plug the tester into it, but this is what my ear is telling me the guitar is doing. It's a 5-way switch. So what I think this guitar is doing in this position, it's a humbucker on the bridge. Here, in the second position, I think it's splitting the coil in this pickup. Okay? In the center position, I think what it's doing is it's splitting a coil here and splitting a coil here, where you have north-south, and it's creating a humbucker right here in the center. Okay? I think that's what it's doing. In this position, I think it's just the single coil here. And then in this position, all the way up, I think it's the humbucker. I'll know more once I put my meter on it and I test it, and I can look at how the ohms and the henries read, and I'll be able to tell if it is actually splitting both of these pickups and using a coil on each in the center position. But it's almost purple right there. It's purple. And then it's blue. And then when you get it in just the right light, the tapers here will turn purple. And it's got the little Infinity logo here. And it does have placement dots up here, guys. So when you're playing, you can look down and see where you're at. It is a 3-piece roasted maple neck on this guitar. And it does have a little volute right here. The neck on the guitar, I'm going to say, is a thin profile C. And it is very smooth. I'm going to guess, Ronnie, you must not have played this guitar that much, because I only see 1 or 2 little faint scratches right here. If I would have walked into a music store, I would have thought this guitar was new and just been played a couple times by someone coming in trying it out. If you did play it a lot, you take really good care of your guitars. It didn't, it sat. Well, that's cool. Well, Linnell's going to play the you-know-what out of this thing. Trust me. So, this is Linnell's new guitar. And when the boss says she wants something, the boss gets what she wants.
Juke said, okay, Avery, get out of the way. Let's hear Linnell play it.
That will come one night, trust me. Right there, buddy. It's going to happen. We're going to get, I tell you what, guys, we're going to get Short Bus in here, and we're going to get Linnell in here. Both of them have been in the chat. You guys know who they are. We're going to get them here on a Friday night and have them duel it out. What do you guys think of that? Oh, look at this. Linnell types in, it's not going to happen. I think we should create a poll at the beginning of the chat window. Should Linnell and Short Bus come over for a jam session? I will play the keyboard, okay, or the drums, one of the two, and we can just, actually, you know what, guys? I'll finally put strings on that bass of mine, and I'll play bass. I've been missing the bass. I got an SWR amp right here. I'll play bass, and Linnell can play lead, and Short Bus can play rhythm.
We'll look like a bunch of misfits.
See, Time Surfing Alien's already on the bus with it. Yeah, right there. We'll make it happen, guys. Just every week, pick on her about it.
Said, closet basis.
Ha! Ha! Hey, there got to be a closet something. Ha! I'm a closet pianist. I'm a closet bassist. I'm a closet guitarist. I don't know what else I could be. A closet drummer. Daddy sang bass. Yeah, that's it, man. Guys, in all seriousness, I pick on bass players. Like I did that one video, and I held up the little, I guess they call it the silica pack. I'm like, ooh, look, it's a bass player treat. But a good bass player in a band makes the band. If you ever go out and you're like, oh, wow, that bass player can play. A lot of times guitar players become bass players. They want to play music. That's why I started playing bass. I always considered myself a halfway good guitar player. But you got to be more than good to be in a band. You got to be good. So I'm like, well, I want to play music. So I went out and bought a bass. And I thought bass would be easy. But to play bass right, it's not like guitar. You can always hear a bass player that is a guitar player that's playing bass. To play bass right, it's difficult. It's a completely different animal than guitar. Uh-oh, I hear her laughing, so somebody's making the comment joke here. Hey! All right, I got to read. Yeah, Kurt Inscale voted yes on that too, just saying. So we've got 2 definite votes. I haven't seen a vote from Jerry yet. Jerry or Jupe hasn't chimed in on the vote. I'm not going to do a poll. That'll, I want to eat tomorrow night or tomorrow, guys. I'm not going to. She's the cook, so I want to be out on the front porch getting the scraps from the puppy dogs. I can't even play guitar. I play it on the radio. Yeah, I can play the radio. Oh, I don't think that's true, Time Surfing Alien. If you're in here, you're playing guitar, you're playing bass, you're playing drums, you're playing something.
Well, see, he said Daddy sang bass, Mama sang tenor. I made a comment and said Mama can't sing.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to get one of those. They've come a long way with these. I'm not, the term isn't really a pitch corrector. Tascam has one that's about $600. And it will take your voice a couple cents one way or the other, and it auto shifts and it does minor corrections. I think something like that in a band situation is the way to go. I mean, all singers try, but occasionally you're off a couple cents, and these newer units are just phenomenal. And believe me, these professional artists, they have one back there too. They're using Eventides. They're not using the cheaper Tascam units. They have some high-end equipment. Sure, since you're going to twist my arm. Oh, okay.
This isn't fair.
Okay. You don't need to eat. I vote yes. Oh, thanks, Jupe. I'm already a little skinny. That's okay. So that was our trip to Shenandoah Music today, guys. I got my new thing for my mic. Linnell got a new guitar, so it was kind of fun and unique.
Jerry said auto tune.
Yeah, basically, you're right, Jerry. It's like an auto tune. Tascam has one. I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can pull one up. It's not something that I think I would buy. Let me see if I can find it. Go to Sweetwater. We'll do Sweetwater today. Tascam auto tune. Yep, right here it is, guys. So let me go back to OBS. We're going to go to display capture. So here's the Tascam unit. I mean, you guys have, I mean, it's $500, and just I don't own one of these, but can you trust YouTube reviews? That's the question. I did go to a couple channels that I feel do studio work, and I did some reviews on their channels as what they thought of this unit, and everyone says it's a heck of a unit for $500. We're not trying to. You can either sing or you can't sing. If you can sing decent and you're a backup vocalist in a band, something like this, or even your main vocalist, it's gonna shift those when you sing in a third. Okay, a lot of backup. You should sing in your third, your fifth. You don't want to sing necessarily the same note as the vocalist. And we're guitar players, so it's not like we're practicing all the time on being a backup vocalist. So you could have this thing in your chain, and it's gonna fine tune your voice. Is it gonna make it perfect? Nothing makes it perfect, but the more you do it, the more this unit's gonna self correct and take those little errors that when you're searching for that note, when you first go into a change and you're like, oh, I got to sing the third here, and you're just off just a little bit and you bring it up, this unit's going to take probably 75% of that out, if that makes sense. And it's a Tascam. And I've got a lot of Tascam equipment. Tascam makes good stuff. I have an old Tascam TRS-8, which was a reel-to-reel machine. I've got a DP32 right now, which is a 32-track digital recorder with a board. I have a DA30 in my rack, which is a digital audio tape mastering device. That's made by Tascam as well. Tascam, which is TIAC, it's TIAC's professional company, and it also is Ramza. I don't know if you ever heard of Ramza professional boards, but Tascam, Ramza, and TIAC, and it used to be Panasonic, was all owned by Mitsushita Electronics. So that's the unit we're talking about. I don't know if anyone here has any experience with a unit like that. I'm not too sure. If you do, let me know. I've never actually played with something like that. Oh, you guys are still on Linnell's butt about being bad.
About singing.
Oh, she's gonna sing. Okay, I'm all about that. I gotta hit the back piece here, guys. So, backtracking here a little bit. While I was at Shenandoah Music today, there was a guy there that I spoke to, and he said he was going to try to swing in to the chat tonight. I don't know whether he will or not. And actually, one of the owners of Shenandoah Music may swing in tonight. He said he would try. Of course, he works all day in a music store and then goes home and has a family. So I don't know if we have someone come in. He said Shenandoah Music actually does have a YouTube account. I haven't actually searched for it, but he may come into the live chat tonight. I hope he does. But he did speak to me a little bit about bringing some guitars home for review. So I think that might be another outlet for the channel to do some quick reviews. And that'll open up, how can I say it? It's hard for me to order an $800 guitar, do a review, and then sell it. So could I take a guitar from Shenandoah Music and do a full review like I've done on some of the other guitars? Probably not. They're probably not going to let me take the neck off the guitar and completely disassemble the guitar. But we could bring the guitar in, check the factory neck relief, check the string action height. We can check the ohms, check the Henrys, check the playability, check how well the frets are done, the fret leveling, the general fit and finish of the guitar. I'm sure we'll talk more in the future. he said that they're bringing in some newer Jackson products, and he was thinking about maybe letting me have them for a couple days, do a couple reviews. So I'm going to be interested to see how that works. Maybe we can branch that into some other equipment that you guys are interested in. And like I said, that's going to open up some things because that frees up some money, to do other things. I'm a musician too, guys. So when I go to the store, I see things I want to get. So I gotta keep what I like and what the channel's doing kind of separated. And there for a while, it was all channel, and I wasn't really doing anything as far as what I pick and what I like and what I want to play. You guys are just chatting along here. Well, I think I struck a nerve on the school short bus and Linnell doing a tag team in here with the guitars.
Oh no, they're talking about me singing.
Oh, you all wanted to sing. Guys, I don't know if I've ever actually heard her sing. Believe it or not, she hums. That's about all she does. Occasionally she'll hum and carry on in the kitchen. She'll bob her head in there when I'm playing guitar. That's about it. Jupe says, I have 3 guitars, a Fender, a 79 Fender reissue, a Schecter Banshee, 2017 model, and a Kiesel Carbon JB200C. All 3 of those guitars are great instruments. There's no doubt of that. No doubt of that. And we've got a bunch of people that's joined in. I haven't been hitting the buttons tonight, so this is for everybody that's in the chat. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming in and just kind of hanging out. That's what we do. We actually went way over last night. We had a 4-hour, you name it, we talked about it last night. We chatted for 4 hours. I looked up at the screen. I'm like, oh my gosh, we've been on here for 4 hours. I don't know if I can do 4 hours again tonight because of my voice, but we will definitely keep going while you all have something to talk about. Oh, typo. It's a 70s reissue, Jupe says. And Jupe says, at least the boss lets you play her guitar. Yeah, that's cool. But I play her Firefly. She's got a black Firefly that I've hot rodded up for her. And believe it or not, that's a really nice guitar. The Firefly's a pretty good guitar. Every time I know someone's posted something funny because I hear her laughing in the other room.
Jerry's comment.
Jerry Dover's got watch her bust out with some death metal scenario and knock our socks off. Yeah, she might do that. What's that King? What was that band King? That real hardcore band. It's King something.
Oh, I don't remember.
King. I can't remember. Someone will know who I'm talking about. He was probably the originator of the hardcore death metal type stuff. It's King something. I can't remember what the name of the band is. Someone will come up with it. So yeah, my conversation with Shenandoah Music, I think, went really well today. Like I said, I think we're going to be able to work something out, maybe get some Jacksons. I did talk to him, and we're gonna find out what the truth is behind this new Fender, okay? And I'm talking about if you guys, and I know Time Surfing, yeah, King Diamond, Devastator. I'm telling you what. Guys, that's the Devastator. Because last night, the man was just throwing stuff on Skype, doing that, and tonight he's on point again tonight. King Diamond. Yep, that was the name of the band.
Curtis Gale says he loves King Diamond and Merciful Fate.
Yeah, I remember King Diamond back in the day, and I had no idea that they were still doing records. It's amazing that they have been putting out stuff ever since, well, they never really stopped. And I didn't know that. It's just that Their music wasn't pushed anymore. They've got a ton of albums. I could not believe that. So I've got a lot of catching up to do on the King Diamond front. I don't know if they got harder or they're more melodic. I just remember they were probably, I'm not going to say goth. They were probably like, it's a mix between like a turn of the century classic goth metal, all kind of mixed together. I guess that's going to be the best way I can describe the band. I think they're pretty cool. Um, but back to what I was saying, I think everyone here watches YouTube, like everyone here does, and I've noticed since Fender come out with this new product line made in Indonesia with the Fender name on it, something I noticed everyone was raising, you know what? Oh, it's Fender, it's Indonesia. Well, Fender with the Fender name has been making guitars in Indonesia for a very long time. I have an Indonesian Fender on the wall. It's the Fender FMT set neck. That guitar is made in Indonesia. And they've been making that guitar for 10 years. Now, Fender doesn't push that guitar for whatever reason. I think it's a great guitar. But Fender really doesn't push it. A lot of people don't even know they made a set neck Telecaster. But that's made in Indonesia. So I saw a lot of stink about that. Oh, it's a Fender. It's made in Indonesia. It needs to have the Squier name on it. It's an Indonesian Fender. It's a Squier. I can see that they're filling a price point. Because even if you go to the Fender Squier and you go to a classic vibe, they're in the 450 range. You know, I know their 40th anniversary was pushing 550, but that was a limited run. Their classic vibes are usually in the 450 range. So when you go to a Player Series, which was Fender's cheap, that was their cheap line. Okay, that was in the $750, $800 price part. So there was this little gap right there. Does it deserve a whole product line with Telecasters and Strats? Fender thinks so. I mean, Fender must know what they're doing. They've been in business a long time. They know the market. So I don't think Fender's going to do something they feel the one, they can't make money, and two, the populace isn't going to buy. The Fender is not a dumb company. I think there is a market for that guitar, and I think the second gen, now this is the first production run, I think Fender will go back and make a couple little changes to that guitar, okay? Whether it's what I've been hearing on YouTube, you know, some people have said, you know, the fret dressing isn't too good, or the way it come out of the box as far as the factory setup wasn't too good. I've heard those two things. So I don't know if they'll do too much with the fret, because they don't want to make the frets better than the Player, or better than the FMT, or better than the Ultra, or whatever other lines Fender has. They need it to be on par though, with a vintage vibe, okay? But you also got to think the vintage vibe is more Strat, I guess. It's more Stratty than a Fender Standard. The Fender Standard is more of a modern take of a Fender Strat, in my opinion. It's got Alnico 5 pickups. The neck is thinned out a little bit. It's got a different type of bridge. You know, it's not the original bridge that Fender always used. But when you look at the Squier Classic vibe, it's more old school Fender Strat than a Player 2 or a Player or the new Standard. So I think the Standard hits the modern Strat market right at the 550, 650 price point. So I think that's going to be a good spot. I started on this because I think they're going to let me bring one home, and we're going to do a review on one. I'm going to go back next weekend and talk to them more, but hopefully they'll start letting me take some stuff home for review. and we can, one, help that business. I've said it a million times on here, guys. If there's a local music store, you guys need to at least go there first. Give them the opportunity to earn your business. That's the key. Now, it's up to that particular music store whether or not they want to give you a deal. And I'm not saying go in there and beat them up. But if someone has a sale price on something and you know your local music store has that product, at least go in and say, hey, I can buy this product over here at this price. Will you sell it to me for that? Then it becomes that store's option whether or not they want to make that sale or not. You've at least tried. Because when these local stores disappear, guys, we're really going to miss it. You know, a lot of the YouTube, this live thing, is because we no longer have those places to get and meet. You know, like today, you know, getting with Ron today at the music store and chatting, shaking his hand, you know, finding out that he traded in one of his Schecters, he traded in, you know, this guitar, and he bought some other stuff, and we're sitting there chatting. I mean, that's what it's about, guys. It's about meeting people and talking and having a good time. So, you know, support your local store if you can. And I'm going to read up on the conversation here. They have done a lot of collaboration and work lately. We're talking about King Diamond there, I'm assuming.
Juke wants to know how long before you get your Axifex 3.
Juke, well, see, right now, look, I am the price of this guitar upside down on the FX3.
Yeah, that's right, blame me.
Now I'm not eating for a week. No, I'm just picking. I don't know. I haven't even talked to Linnell about it. I know I want one. What Linnell and I will sit down and do is we'll try to set up a fund, and each month I'm going to put a little bit aside for it. I think just the unit itself. Let's actually go and see. Yeah, Jupe, believe me, she says I can get one. There's no problem with her saying that I can't have one. It just comes down to got a house payment. I got a truck payment, got car insurance, house insurance, food, you know, life, electric bill, got a gas, got an oil furnace. I got to put oil in the furnace. Summer's coming. You're going to be running the AC. I got a really nasty guitar habit with breaking strings, so I got to buy guitar strings, cables. Everything seems to just stack up. So what I would like to do is try to save maybe $300 a month towards it, something like that. So I've got the Axifex website up, guys. So let's actually go.
Ronnie said you missed it. He traded in a Pod Go 2 days ago.
Oh, you traded in a Pod Go? That's the new little pedal with the knob in the center, I think.
Jared Dover said grit diet.
That's it. Oh. All right, guys, I had to take a drink there.
Nicholas said they'll give you a fractal hat.
I need a fractal hat. All right, here we are at Fractal. Now, I was thinking about getting their new product here. Where is it? Here it is.
Ron wants to know if you've tried a Pod Express yet.
The only Helix products that I've tried are the HX Stomp. And I have one up on my desk here. The first couple live streams, I did use that directly into the AG08. There was nothing wrong with it. I think the Line 6 HX Stomp, if you're playing in a place that has front of house, I think that's all you need.
Ron said he'll let you try it if you want.
Oh, that'll work cool. That would be really cool. But as far as playing out live, and you're playing smaller places, and let's say you're going to an open mic and they got a little PA, I would take my HX Stomp and with a cab RI and an amp simulator, my guitar, and I would plug my guitar into the HX Stomp and run right to their PA. I mean, I could fit everything in my guitar case. So here's the VP4, and this is basically just an effects unit. It does not have a preamp in the unit. From what I understand, it's just effects. So I was thinking, well, maybe I should just get this unit, and then I'll run the guitar directly into my Synergy, my Sedano, and my Friedman preamplifiers. Come out of the effects loop right into this. Come out of the Friedman and the Sedano, the Synergy rack, right into my power amp, into my 4-speaker enclosure. That's kind of what I was thinking. But it's in pedal form. And everybody here knows I am a rack mount guy. And I'm thinking, well, when I go out and play, this would be cool. I could just take this. And then I thought about it and said, well, I can. It's just effects. And then I thought about it some more, and I'm like, well, I've got the HX Stomp, so that can be my travel rig. That's originally what I bought it for anyway. I got my little headphones, plugged my headphones into my HX Stomp. I got my guitar in the hotel room, HX Stomp right into the headphones. Perfect little travel rig. And I could fit it all right in my gig bag or my guitar case. So then, after all that, I said, well, that's probably not what I need to do. So, of course, then they have the FM9, and that's their great big floor effects unit. And there is nothing wrong at all with this FM9.
Jerry said 400 plus pedals. Wow.
Yeah, if you're buying, I hate to say this, guys. I mean, I started, Jerry will remember, because he was kind of excited. I guess he kind of got upset with me because I never finished it. I was going to start reviewing pedals, and I went out and bought a bunch of Joe-Yo pedals. I bought a bunch of pedals. And it did not take me long to realize that it's just the more pedals you connect, the more power it takes, and the more line noise there are because there's so many connections. And then you got to buy a booster to boost the signal because you got so many pedals. And then you got to buy something that, something really clean to power the pedals, because if you don't have a really good clean power supply going to all these pedals, you get noise. And I'm sitting there adding all this stuff up, and I'm like, this makes no sense, because you can buy a multi-effects unit. It's one power cord, plug the guitar in, or an effects loop, and you're done. So I kind of abandoned the pedal thing. Now, I'd still use my pedals in my little Egnator amp. I'm not saying it's bad. I just think for the cost and the money, this is the future. It's already here. Well, it was the future 30 years ago when I bought my ART. Most of the people that I knew were still running heads and boosting them with the TS9 or a Boss DS1 or something. And then they had a delay pedal into a Marshall head.
Searching for Tone says pedal reviews go nowhere too.
Yeah, exactly. They really don't go anywhere. I did an amp review, and I think that review still only has like 400 views. It's crazy. But something like this, I mean, it's a great unit.
Jupe says, I use a Helix LT, and the only thing I quibble about it is I can't seem to get those real high gain tones from it, but otherwise it's great.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Jupe. Now, when I sit in this room, okay, I crank up my Friedman. In my ears and in the room, you've got a large area for that sound to bounce off the walls. It sounds good. But when I put a mic in front of it and I try to capture that sound, it becomes boomy, bottom-endy, and it gets lost. So if you're wanting to just play in your house and it's for you, yeah, you can really push that distortion. But when you start trying to apply that sound and get it recorded, you really got to cut back on the gain in the main preamp and give it more boost. It's going to sound like you don't have much gain. Use a less gain and bump up your time delay in your reverb to kind of offset your sag that you're missing on all that gain, because you're not going to have as much sag because you're not pushing the tubes. So bump up your delay a little bit to give it that tone in between your notes. And you'll find that once it's recorded, you're going to have plenty of gain. I'm actually playing a lot less gain on these live shows than I actually use when I'm in the house just playing. And I'm going to kind of contribute that to the room dynamics and the microphone. Our ears are microphones, that's what they are. But you're trying to capture that sound with a microphone, and then you're running it through a board that has a preamp, and then you're smushing that into something that YouTube can push back out to you. So it's being converted to a digital signal, back to an analog signal, back to a digital signal. So by the time you guys get it, it's so compressed and smushed, it's kind of hard.
Nicholas says FX cab IRs are great.
Yep, they are. Linnell's reading the comments in the other room. So this was a unit, back to the Axe-Fx, the FM3 I thought about buying due to cost. Another great unit. And everyone goes, oh, it doesn't have the processing power. That FM3 has 10 times the processing power of my Applied Research Technology unit built 30 years ago. So I really don't think I would have a problem with processing power, being that everyone knows what I play through now. But everyone here knows I have no issues if someone wants to go out and buy a $5,000 Gibson. If that's what you want, that's what you want. If you hear the difference and you feel the difference, then that's the guitar for you. In my case, I think this is the unit for me. I am a rack mount guy. I am very picky. And this is just a solid unit. Now, here's what a lot of people aren't going to tell you. You're not going to find reviews on Fractal on YouTube. Not like you will the Helix or the Quad Cortex. Why is that? Fractal doesn't solicit anyone. If you want their product, you buy it and pay for it. Fractal does not send anybody anything. Type into any channel that's done reviews on Axe. They did not get that product for free. They have to purchase it. And there is no kickback from Fractal. Fractal could care less whether or not you buy their product. They know it's a good product, and it's like any other company or person that's good at something. Everyone goes, oh, he's got a chip on his shoulder. Oh, he's got an attitude. You know, if you know you're good at something, that attitude and that confidence comes through. And Fractal is that company. They know they make a solid equipment.
Jerry
And
said you only live once, might as well do it while you can.
you're right, Jerry. This is going to be something that I'm going to start saving up my money, and I'm going to purchase. And for anyone saying that's crazy, this would have been 1991 when I bought my Applied Research Technology preamp. That thing was $1,600.
Jerry White is in.
Okay, $1,600 in 91. That was a tremendous amount of money for a rack mount effects processor. Okay, that's what I bought. And people, everyone that I played music with, they said, oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. I saw those guys go from Marshall to, Hughes and Kettner to a Sedano to this amp to that amp. And they were always chasing. I'm going to get this, I'm going to get. I've been playing my art for 30-some years. And I'm not saying I'm not chasing tones. I chase tones with that too, but I dial tones in the best I can. It just did a little bit of everything really well. Well, I think the Helix is a great product for what it is, Jupe. Um, I'm not going to take anything away from Helix. You got to keep in mind Helix and what's that other one that kind of looks like something out of Star Trek? It's actually a power amp in it. It's a capturing device. It's got strange looking buttons on it. Uh, that product's been out like 16 years. The Helix has been out for at least 10 years. Um, when Line 6 come out with the original rack mount pod, I bought one and I was just not happy with it. And I ended up selling it to the rhythm guitar player in the band. That was just me. I ended up just really not bonding well with the pod. And we're talking the old pod. This was like the red colored anodized face pod. It was the very first rack mount unit Line 6 ever come out with. And it was a modeling unit. You know, did it sound bad? It felt funny under my fingers. And again, I know people say, oh, you can't tell, you can't feel. My little squirrel brain, when I heard it and when I played it, it just didn't feel right.
Jerry White says,
Um,
how much is it now?
how much is what, Jerry?
You said something was $1,600 back in.
Oh, now you cannot buy that unit now. Yeah, Applied Research Technology hasn't made it since probably '96 was probably the last year it was created. You can get on Reverb. The problem is the ones that I see on Reverb look like they're pretty beat up, and I've seen them on Reverb with, without the foot controller for $350. They look like they're in good, condition. And I've seen them go all the way up to $800 or $900 with the foot controller in great condition. I don't know if I have my foot controller out here.
No, you don't.
Where is the foot controller?
I'm sure it's covered in dust.
Linnell says it's probably covered in dust. So the foot controller I have, if we can, someone wants to type in, I have the ART X15. It has two expression pedals on it, and then it has three groups of bank buttons on it. So you can set buttons up to turn on and off individual effects, or you can have a bank set up to where you can have individual effects on and off, or like this button will go to a preset 130, 140, 180, and then your other bank you can go up and down or mute, or you can change your expression. You can say, okay, I want expression pedal to be this or expression pedal to be that. It was way ahead of its time. But yeah, it really depends. You can look on Reverb if you want to get one. But before anyone goes out and buys an ART SGX 2000 Express, I've mentioned it a couple times. A lot of hate back in the early 90s for the unit because it had an artifact. It was called the ART artifact. And basically, it's something to do with the processing power of the unit. They cheated some of the delays, and you get this little artifact in the delay. And over the years, I've learned how to make the delay not have as much of that. It's not as predominant, so you don't hear it. But back in the day, you used to be able to go in a bar and you could go, that's an Applied Research Technology, and you could tell by the reverb and the delay. Some people didn't really care for the distortion circuit in it, even though it is a 12AX7. The one that I have was modified by a company that modifies tube amps. And mine actually uses two 12AX7s. It has a gauge stain boost in it.
Devastator said the
But-
one I just Skyped you.
Devastator did us a Skype, so I have to open Skype. So hold on here, guys. Yes, that's the one. So let me switch it in here, and we go back to display capture, guys. Devastator sent us a picture. So that's the X15 Ultrafoot. I have two of those. So that's something else that no one knew. You can daisy chain these things together. So I never tried to do 3. I know 2 works. So you can come out of MIDI into in, okay, and then back out of here, or you can do through. Your through will allow another pedal to go through this one. So you can do one X15 out to through and then in to receive on, if that makes sense. Basically, you're creating a daisy chain. So in the SGX 2000, you can assign 4 different expression pedals. Then you can assign this one to where this might be delay, reverb, gate, limiter, flanger, chorus, okay? Then your other X15, you could have it set up where it's just channels. This is channel, let's say 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, okay? And then you can control your banks, like bank 109 through 20. Or you can set it up to where this will go 120, 136, whatever bank you want it to go. So that's how I did mine live. I had 2 of these set up. One was set up as my individual effects. That way I didn't need to change banks. Remember, this is 30 years ago. So there was a slight legacy there for the computer system in the SGX to reboot to the new sound. So it was better to say, stay on channel 136, have all your effects loaded on that channel. When you go to a different song and that song didn't have chorus, you'd have your chorus on this button. You push out, the chorus would drop out. You didn't change banks. So it was instantaneous, it switched. But as soon as you went to channel 132nd, let's say you were on 136 and you went to 137, then what would happen, it would be 1, 2, and it would switch. And it was very difficult. For a year, I would try to change banks, and you would have to push the button 2 seconds before your lead. That way it would change banks for your lead. Then I started to realize that I could use the expression for gain. So I had this set up for my gain on my tube stage and then volume. So I would do a minimum. This all the way up was maximum volume and all the way down was my minimum guitar volume. So I just used it as a boost, and then this was the gain. It was my minimum distortion that I needed and then my maximum distortion that I needed. And it worked really well.
Jerry Dover says, I know it's a poor man's Marshall, but if you found a PV Windsor for less than $200, would you buy it? I also come across a 112 50-watt Valve King combo that I'm considering.
Poor man's Marshall. PV Windsor. Before I bought the Windsor, I would probably buy the Penta. That's just me, Jerry. I'm not saying the Windsor I know is a great amp, but I already have a Penta cabinet, and I know the Penta is switchable. And the way PV made that amp, it reconfigures the tube amp section. It actually changes some of the caps, some of the values of the resistors in there. And it has a Marshall side, it has a Fender side, it has a couple different amps that it's simulating. But it's not a simulation, it's actual caps and diodes and tubes. So I would try to find a Penta. The problem with the Pentas are, if you find a head, the cheapest one I've found so far is about, I think, $750, $800 just for the head. The next problem with the Penta head, it's 140 watts. So I would have to pull a Kurt in scale and get me a power soak and just crank up the power soak and red plate my tubes to get it to sound good. But I'm all with Kurt. I told him the other live stream, I go through tubes. I could take my amp to an amp guy. I could send one of our moderators is an excellent amp modifier. I could send it to him. He could bias that thing, and the tubes would last 50 years in it. But would it sound the way it sounds now? with the voltage cranked up on the tubes. No. I want that. I want that. Just like Kurt was saying the other night. He goes, I like the way it sounds. That's because he's just driving the snot out of that preamp, even though he doesn't hear it, because he's got that power soak on the backside just eating all that power. So the amp, as far as that amp's concerned, it's playing a concert stadium, even though he's in his bedroom playing. So sure, you're going to eat tubes doing that. That's why I eat tubes. So with the Penta 140 watt, I would definitely need a power soak or something like that to tame that thing down to where I could crank the amp up to get the sound. It's like a JCM 800. If you want a JCM 800 to sound like a JCM 800 that we like, you got to crank it. They like to be loud. So you just got to turn them up. Or do like Kurt does and put one of those units on it. And the amp doesn't know the difference though, guys. So you're gonna be hurting your tubes. You can cook breakfast on the top of the amplifier sometimes. I know mine gets so hot on the top where I think I could fry eggs on top of my amplifier. It's yeah, I know I'm bleeding. I got myself earlier, guys. Hon, can you give me a thing?
You need a paper towel.
Yeah. I caught myself on the thing going into the restroom. But I'm one of those people. I'm a man. I can tough through it. As she brings in the sun. Oh, I'm gonna probably need it wet.
I don't have anything. Oh.
Just kind of get it wet for a second. Yeah. What's funny is she knows when I get sick, guys. I'm the biggest baby. Because Monday and Tuesday, I was sick. I come home from work and I was having chicken and stars, and she's feeding me Alka-Seltzer and aspirins and coming in and treating me in the bedroom for all my illnesses. It's pretty funny actually. Boy, I got myself pretty good, guys. I got myself pretty good. See what I do for you guys? I'm bleeding for you guys. Your own entertainment.
Curtis Gale says that's sacrifice Avery to the metal gods.
Yeah, I think that's what you guys are doing. I think they're sacrificing me to the metal gods.
And Juke said with the boss now.
That's it. So yeah, what I'm thinking about doing is I'm going to set aside X amount of money to be able to, buy the Axe-Fx. So there's been some people coming in. I wanted to do a shout out for Searching for Tone. If he's still in the group, thanks for coming in, man. Thanks. Really appreciate other channels coming in and showing support. That really means a lot to me.
Never Singer said puts his blood, sweat, and tears into the live stream.
Yeah, I do, guys. I really do. I look forward to doing this. I really do. So I'm seeing who else I might have missed that came in. Jerry White. I think that's it. Oh, Nicholas come in. Like I said, anybody that I missed, I want to thank everyone that comes in and joins in the group. That means a lot to me. Yeah, evidently, Searching for Tone has already left. I haven't seen him type anything in. I go to his channel. Check out his content. That's what it's about. So, I can't remember who had the Axe-Fx, guys. The FX3 that was in the chat last weekend. I can't remember who actually had the Axe-Fx unit, and they were rubbing it in that they had it. I can't remember now. But if you just joined the group and you didn't see the beginning of the video, we have a new toy that came to the house. And this is a Chapman ML1. And this is Linnell's guitar. This is her new toy. And it has a trans finish on it. It changes colors. Pretty cool guitar. Let's do a quick tone check on it. Alright, I'm going to turn off my overhead. That's bridge. I'm going to go through we're going to start in the bridge. I'll go through the different switch positions. I think I said it earlier. I think the bottom is the humbucker. Next position I think goes to a single coil. Then I think it's both are split, which creates a humbucker.
Ronnie said don't scratch her finish. LOL.
That's it. I got to watch the end of the chair. Then I think in our fourth position, it's single coil here. And then fifth position, humbucker here. I'll go through the different sounds here.
Ronnie says you're gonna have to hook me up with your amp guy sometime.
That, guys, was the 5 different positions. And like I said, I'm really curious putting it on the bench in this center position, the dead center position. I think it's a split coil here and a split coil here where you have north and south opposing, which cancels out the hum. I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing there. But it's got a lot of different sounds. I should switch over the amp to a real light distortion on the Sedano, and it really comes to life on those kind of sounds. The bluesy kind of rock type stuff, but it does really well with the higher gain stuff too. It's they're Seymour Duncan pickups. I need to look up and find out if these are the blacks or if they're JBs or they're pearly gates. I don't know what's they could be those ARB1s like Dean was using, or AHB1 or whatever that pickup was. But they're Seymours, so they're going to be good pickups. There's no doubt of that. And there will be no throwing cigarette butts out the window. Sounded a little hindrancy there at the beginning. Ha! You know, guys, I hear people say that. You know, we're working with 12 notes, and there's only so many variations. So every time you hear a song and you learn something, all of that, believe it or not, goes into your playing style. You don't realize that every song you've ever learned, at some point, there's a sequence of notes from this song or that song or this group pattern, and we just kind of jumble all that together. You know, we really do. Everything I play has been written or done by some other artist or some other musician. There's no sequence of notes that we're actually going to write that someone hasn't already done before us. How we need to approach it is how we attack the strings, how we put our spin on it. I guess that's the best way of putting it. I mean, how many songs are written with power chords?
Nicholas wants to know what your Skype contact is.
Skype contact. I'll type it in the chat here, guys.
And Ronnie said you're gonna have to hook him up with your amp guy sometime.
With my amp what?
Amp guy.
Amp guide. I am going to have to make an amp guide.
Guy.
That is my Skype ID. And when you type it in, it'll probably come up with little apostrophes saying Healy Freak. It'll say, and basically, it's not just a bunch of letters. Now, you guys can laugh at me. I'll give someone $100,000 right now, other than Linnell, that can tell me what you think that stands for. You got 5 seconds. Now I'm gonna wait. Now I'm gonna wait for the YouTube to catch up. Okay. MGPTWGB stands for moderately good pilot that will eventually get better. And back when I was flying very large drones, that was my nickname on the flying field.
Ronnie said he's got 5 tube amps, gonna need one. He said I'm lost.
Oh, yeah. Anytime, if you were saying, I don't know if you were saying that it's a tube what or amp map or what was it, hon?
He said your amp guy.
Amp guide.
Guy, like person?
Oh, my amp guy is one of the moderators, Ron. You'll have to send him the amp. It's Mike. Okay, if you go back and you look at my videos, you should be able to find a post from Mike Orient. And he is a true amp master. So what I do, if you're going to send him a head, pull the amplifier out of the head and just send him the electronics. Wrap it up. You don't need the whole box and all that. Just send him the guts, and he'll tune it up, recap it, do whatever you need to do. He's a master. He's also really good at modifying Marshalls. He has every Marshall modification down. You just tell him what you're looking for. He actually does tube reconfiguration work where you can convert to 6L6s or, EL34s. He'll go in and change the caps, change the, whatever you got to do, change the bias in the amp, changing preamp tubes. He did what was that, VHT?
Yeah.
I had a VHT I sold to a gentleman, and he put the wrong tube in it and blew it up. And he sent it to Mike, and Mike redid that amplifier and set it up with the tube stage that the gentleman wanted to start with. So I don't know how involved that actually was or what Mike did,
Mike,
but I know that, hey, there's Mike, speak of the
he
devil.
said he only has 20 minutes.
Right there you go, Ron. You can pick Mike's brain in the chat with whatever you need. Like I said, what he asked me to do was just send the carcass, but you two can talk, and he's an amp guru. So whatever you need, he can either answer your question or he will work on your product and have a lot of faith in the man. He's awesome.
Jerry White said I'm a drone pilot myself. Love my DJIs.
I'm not the only quadcopter I have is I have 2 SpeedXs. As far as my drones, I'm flying 700, 750 class helicopters, which are collective pitch monstrosities. I don't really fly too much anymore. I had a good friend that lost his life about 6 or 7 years ago from a rotor accident. One of the turnbuckles come off one of the rotors, lost control of the helicopter, and it come back, and the 800 millimeter carbon fiber blade entered his head about here and stopped about 3/4 of the way through. It killed him instantly. I flew for about a year after that, and I really haven't flown since. If you look at my videos, you will sometimes see my 720 class helicopter up on the table. If anyone is into helicopters, I do have some pretty high-end stuff if you're interested, and I probably should sell some of them. I'm going to keep my Agile that's up here, but if anyone's into that kind of stuff, they need to go to a good home.
Ronnie says that he said he just needs to know when something goes bad. I'm assuming he's talking about his amps, and he's a drone guy also.
Oh, that's cool. Well, Ron, if you're into drones, I'll get my SpeedX and we'll go flying one day. There's a group of people in Stevens City that fly in the park, and then there's another group of people that get together in Haymarket, Virginia that fly. So spring is coming.
Mike said he'll watch the entire stream in the AM and comment on the posted video.
Well, Mike,
He said he only had 20 minutes.
that's cool. I saw you. That means you at least got 15 minutes left because I just saw you comment, unless you've been hanging out in the background. Mike, here is Linnell's new toy. That is Linnell's new guitar, Mike. She bought a Chapman ML1. And believe it or not, Ron, the gentleman in the chat here, this was Ron's guitar. So it went from his house to my house.
Mike said, wow.
Yep. And you know, Mike, this thing's pretty cool. It makes a lot of different sounds. It's a good sounding guitar. Linnell's got the Black Firefly. Remember I told you that I put the Epiphone Burstbucker pickups in and stuff? So she's got that guitar, and now she has her new Chapman. And I was at the store, and Ron told me he traded that in and his Schecter. So he said, well, you need to go look at that Schecter. Well, he leaves. I don't know where Ron went. He just disappears, and they bring out this guitar, and I play it for a little bit and hand it back to the girl. And Linnell just looked at me. She goes, I want that guitar. I want that guitar. So,
Mike
you know.
said, will we get to see her jam someday?
Well, we started a poll on that, Mike. Everyone's already casted their vote on whether or not they wanted to see Short Bus and Linnell do a jam session here on Friday night. So you can put whether you want to see that or whether you don't want to see that. Yeah.
Curtis Gill said, I will play Imperial Death March on guitar in the background while you guys crash your drones.
Oh, that would be cool. I would like to see. I would like to do that. That would be cool. Ha! Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. We used to do pylon racing at the Haymarket. We set up these big foam noodles in a triangle. There was 3 of them. And we would race around the pylons. And there were some guys that flew airplanes there. And they, of course, they wanted to fly with us. Well, the cheaper airplanes are made out of styrofoam. It's inexpensive. So we would start pylon racing with these foam airplanes in our quadcopters. When a quadcopter hits a styrofoam airplane, the two don't mix very well. The styrofoam parts just go everywhere. So it was pretty funny.
Look now, Jerry said, just vote yes, Mike. And Mike said, consider it done.
Oh, see, Mike's on board too, honey. Ha!
Everybody is. How rude.
She said, how rude. Ah! I don't think that's rude. I think that would be, I think that video might go viral. It might make the whole channel. Ah! That's my story. I'm going to stick to it. Ah! Yep. So, Mike, since you're only on for 20 minutes, what cool amplifiers do you have down on your workbench right now? Last time you were here, you were working on a Marshall, I believe you said. So I'm kind of curious what you've got down in the laboratory that you're hot rodding.
Devastator said it could be your new intro.
You know, you're right. We need a channel intro. And if anyone didn't notice, if YouTube put it up, there was actually a thumbnail for this live stream tonight. So remember what I said, each live stream we're going to try to get a little better, a little better, a little better. So I created a thumbnail. Now normally if you guys see my thumbnails, I'm not like most channels. I don't spend a lot of time on a thumbnail. I take a picture of the guitar, throw some basic lettering up on it, and put it out there. I'm not a big clickbait person. I don't put fancy titles up. I think my reviews speak for themselves. And once people click on 1 or 2, they kind of get an idea for what this channel is. I heard some other channels talk, well, if you're going to do live streams and you're going to do reviews, you should have 2 separate channels. Maybe, but I'm not really after, 100,000 subs anyway. I think YouTube, the AI system, is smart enough to figure out that I am now doing lives on Friday and Saturday, and then every 2 weeks we post a review video. I think that's going to be the standard norm for this channel. About every 2 weeks, do a new review video or a component video, and at least do one live stream a week. We've been doing two, but at least do one live stream and maybe a video premiere a week or something.
Mike said modding another Origin 20, then a DSL 40 CR.
The DSL 40 CR. Is that Marshall as well, Mike? DSL, that sounds like Marshall. And a thumbnail. The thumbnail looks cool. Oh, thank you, Mike. I'm trying to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with, what is it? VC something. Let me close this off. I'll tell you guys what it is.
Isn't the VDSC or?
I use VSDC.
Hey, there it is.
VSDC. That's pretty much my editing software.
Mike said I don't see a vote on the post tab, so mark me as yes.
Oh, yeah, I didn't actually create the poll. I was going to, but Mike, I wanted to eat tomorrow. Linnell's the cook in the house, so I didn't want to starve to death, so I didn't create the poll. Just saying, just putting it out there.
He said DSL is Marshall.
Yeah, I figured the DSL was a Marshall. That's cool. Yeah. So yeah, we went to Shenandoah Music, Mike. I got one of these little guys too. Have you just joined in the group? Got a little holder for my mic. And that's kind of setting up just barely. Everyone was saying, oh, your mic's in the way. We can't see your guitar. Your mic's in the way. We can't do this. We can't do that. So little changes each week. Hopefully hopefully the audio quality is getting better each week. I'm struggling I don't want to be right up on the microphone. So what I'm trying to do now, I think I've got the gain under control. It's not over gained, but I still kind of feel like when I hear it, it sounds like I'm way far away, which I'm within 16 inches of the microphone, but I'm using a channel strip. So I don't think I have my channel strip set right, and I think it's muting or muffling my voice a little bit. I'm not too sure on that. It has a funny sound when I listen to it. I made a lot of adjustments to it before the stream. And at the end of every stream, I always go back and listen to the guitar tones and listen to what I sound like to make changes.
Mike said moving on up.
That's it, moving on up. That's what the microphone's doing. So I am trying to make little improvements to make it a little better. At least now we don't have this microphone sitting right here in front of the camera blocking everything.
Ron
So
and
I
Juke-
think that makes a big difference.
Ron and Juke both say it sounds good.
Yeah, I think it's getting better each week. This might be as good as I can get it without getting like a lapel mic, something that's right up next to me. And I don't think I want that hooked to my shirt with a wire going through with a transmitter. This is simple. It's a simple phantom-powered microphone going right in. It's simple and it works. So.
Mike said, for what it's worth, the commercials are much louder than your speech. Sound a little like you're across the room, but not bad.
Yeah, I don't have it gained up. Now I'm looking at my meters, and as I speak, I'm barely hitting the yellow. So I know I can crank it up just a little bit. How about that? Is that any better? Actually, I think I had it that loud earlier, but I was playing guitar and I did a test. I wanted to use both microphones, and I turned this microphone down and brought the guitar microphone up, and I was trying to blend the two signals.
They said it got louder.
Yeah, does it sound muted or overgained now at all? Yeah, I did that. I apologize, guys. So when I when I had both microphones on earlier, I remember I turned that one down. No good. Sounds good. Got louder. Ha! I'm all confused now.
I think Ron was saying no, it's good.
No good. Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky. This is a phantom powered mic. I just don't want to be right in my face with it. So if I can't get that sound out of it, I can't get it out. But yeah, I had the gain down a little bit. I can actually give it just a little bit more.
Jackie's on.
There we go. That's probably too much. I just saw it hit the red. They do one turn down. There we go. Check, check, check. All right, that doesn't seem like it's hitting the red now.
Jackie's on.
Oh, there's Jackie. There we go. That sounds perfect. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I just got to play around with it, guys. And plus, I scooted up a little bit, too. That also helps. Yeah. When I set the stream up, it gives you three options: conservative, moderate, or in other words, we're going to throw a commercial in every minute. And I've set everything to the bare minimum. So I don't know how many commercials it's playing, how often, but being monetized, it's set to the bare minimum YouTube will allow me to set it at. And that's kind of a shame. I don't know why YouTube wants to, on the live section, I wish they had a way to where you had no commercials. And then on the replay, then they could put some commercials on it. Maybe I need to set it up non-monetized during the live and then monetize it on the replay. Maybe that's the way I can get around it. Chip says 3 or 4 ads so far. Yeah, it's YouTube. Not much I can do about it. So I see we got 19 people in here. That's pretty good. It seems like the lives are getting a little bit more traction each week we do it. And that's good. And it does seem like we're getting a group that always comes each week and we're all hanging out together, which I kind of like. That means a lot to me. So who else went to the music store today and bought toys? I know Ron was at the music store because I met him there and I bought his guitar. So anybody else get anything new and exciting at the music store today? I kind of already went over my guitar purchase and my mic, my little support stand for my microphone. And if you wasn't in here earlier, I did speak to the owner of the store, and I think we're going to be able to work something out to where I can start bringing home a guitar every now and then and doing a full review on it. Ron says, new Strat yesterday. Which Strat did you get? Did you get that red Fender Standard that Shenandoah had? I went in there to play that guitar today. That's the one I went into. I just wanted to look at it. But I went in to play that guitar because they had sent a thing out on Facebook showing the guitar. Dark Knight Pro 2. Okay. Is that a Dark Knight Pro? Is that a Fender or what is that? I'm not familiar with that. It might be Schecter because they sell Gretsch, Schecter. Oh, it's Fender. Because they sell LTD, Gibson, Fender.
They don't sell Gibson.
Oh, that's right. It's not Gibson. It's Fender, LTD, Schecter, Gretsch, Jackson, Ibanez. Who else? I can't think. Can you think of any, Ron, else they sell? They've got a couple different. Of course, Squire. They got Squire. I think that's it. I'm probably missing a brand. I think that's what they carry. They got a lot of different guitars in there, and they just picked up LTD here recently. So, well, of course they got LTD, they got ESP and E2, which is all part of the ESP line.
He said Dark Knight is the color. It's an Ibanez.
Oh, okay. So is that the Ibanez AZ series? Is that the one I'm thinking? Devastator. I'm thinking about saving up for a signature guitar next. Torn between the Nita Strauss and the Miles Kennedy PRS. I know the Miles Kennedy. I don't know the other one. I guess that's pronounced Java 10. I don't know that guitar. You're going to have to Skype me a picture of that one. I do not know that one. The Miles Kennedy, I do know. I know that's a great guitar. Nida. Ibanez makes it. It's a Fender Dark Knight is the color. It's a Professional 2 model. Huh. Okay. Fender's got a lot of different, all of these companies, they have so many different product lines now. Like Ibanez, they have the Prestige, the AZ line, then they've got the premium line, then they've got the Geo line, and then I know they also have Custom Shop and other things. All right, Ben sent me a picture of the guitar here. As soon as I close out on this one, I can get to it. All right, hold on, guys. Let me get display capture up. So here's the Ibanez that they're talking about. That is a cool looking guitar. That is really cool. It's got the black burst. Looks like there's some red going on in the jacket there where they plug the guitar in. Can't really see the inlay. It looks like a star or a cross or something. Now, is that considered a premium? The Ibanez where it says premium up on the headstock? I'm assuming that's what that is. That's one of the premium line. Go back to the chat window. I can see if that's what it is. Kind of looks like the Nita Strauss model. Just a thought, I have a few guitars listed for local pickup on Marketplace, but if anyone on the stream is interested and in the USA, I can ship them to you. That's Mike. So, Mike, what you can do, if you have pictures of them, you can Skype them to me, the ones that you have for sale with the price, and I'll put them up on the stream.
You know you have several screens open, right?
Yeah, I got a bunch of different streams all going at the same time. Hold on for a second, guys. And the Skype window won't get out to where I can get to the... There we go. Sorry about that, guys. And he just sent me another Skype photo. So hold on here. Yeah, he sent a larger picture of the two. So we'll go back to display capture. Oh, it's like a heartbeat type thing on the neck. Ooh, I like those pickup covers. That's pretty cool. And the other picture didn't show it's got a binding as well.
Mike said I like Linnell's reverse headstock better.
Yeah, I'm surprised that doesn't say premium or the other one on it. So is this one a made in? I'm assuming that's a made in Japan Ibanez. Would be my guess. I'm guessing that's a made in Japan product. Yeah, Linnell's guitar. I like this one. That's pretty cool. I do have to say, I'm a little jealous. That's a pretty cool guitar. That's a pretty cool guitar. I gotta say. But I tell you, it really caught me off guard when I was handing the guitar back to the girl that works there, and she just went, "I want that guitar." And I looked at her, I'm like, "Really?" And she goes, "Yeah, I want that guitar." And I'm like, "Okay." Yeah, I've got Skype open, Mike. So if you send it to me, I can put it up on the Skype thing if you want, or you can type in the chat the area that you're at, Mike.
He did. He's in Eagle Mountain, Utah.
Yep, and they can look up Marketplace right from there, and check out your listings directly. Yep, Eagle Mountain.
Utah.
Yeah, Sweetwater's not specifying whether it's Japanese made. Usually, it'll say. Sweetwater's also pretty good. Maybe look at the one picture of the back of the headstock, where it'll actually say where it's crafted right here on the back of the headstock. Sometimes Sweetwater will take a picture of the serial number and stuff like that on the back of the headstock. You should be able to look right there and see if it's a made in Japan product or if it's one of their Indonesian products or Korean products. I'm not familiar with that model, so I don't know. So Ron's the only one besides me that got a new toy this week. I find that hard to believe. I don't think the Nita model is made in Japan. I think it's Indonesian. So what's that thing? So what's it retailing for? Is that 1,500, 1,600? Well, I mean, I didn't pay attention if the photos that they sent me, Devastator saying Indonesia. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, guys, I've got a Fender FMT that's Indonesian made, and it's a great instrument. There's nothing at all wrong with it.
Jackie picked up his new PRS on Wednesday.
Oh, which PRS did you get? Have you told us already? Jackie, I'm kind of curious which PRS you got.
Devastator said $1,600.
$1,600 on the Ibanez. I tell you, Jackson's new the EX27, it's $2,000. It's Indonesian made as well. So these Indonesian guitars are definitely going up on the price. It's not, we can't look at it anymore. It's Korean or it's Indonesian or it's Mexico. They're all the price points are going up.
Jackie said, yeah, I was talking about it last week. S2 McCarty single cut.
Yeah, S2 McCarty single cut. Yeah, every Paul Reed Smith I've ever picked up I liked. I think the best way of describing Paul Reed Smiths, the ones that I've picked up and played, they have a broke-in feel. It feels like an instrument that has been played, and it just has that feel like it's been played. It's not sharp on the edges. The fingerboard's rolled over. It's nice and smooth. It's easy to fret. They just have that easy play feel to them. And that's how I describe Paul Reed Smith. That's my own interpretation of how a Paul Reed Smith feels when you play it. It just has a real smooth, broken in feel. I don't know if you all agree with me on that. That's how I see a Paul Reed Smith. Now this guitar, the one Linnell just got, um, this guitar has more of a. It's very smooth on the frets, but the fretboard radius, I haven't checked it. It feels very flat to me. So I'm guessing that this was probably a 16-inch radius on this fingerboard. It does feel on the flat side. Jerry says straight to PA.
They're
So,
talking about that Nina Strauss. She played with Alice Cooper. She also does solo work.
oh, okay. You guys are talking about the Alice Cooper, she's saying.
No, well, they're talking about Nina.
Yeah. Thanks, Jerry. I can just sit back and watch your all's conversation. I don't need to talk. I need to get microphones in front of everybody here. That's what we need.
Juke had said, I don't know what Nita is playing through nowadays, but she did use a Boss GT1000, and Jerry said she still does.
Yeah.
Mike just got the 10-minute warning.
Got the 10-minute warning. That's okay, Mike. Tonight's date night, right? I think that's what you said. Saturday nights was date night. We went out running around earlier. We went to Shenandoah Music in Walmart. that was our date time. Shenandoah Music in Walmart. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all wrong with that. I'm going back in the chat, making sure I didn't miss anything. I don't think I did, because Linnell's pretty good at yelling in here.
Ron said I missed you at Walmart.
Well, we actually went to the Walmart in Front Royal. So we left Shenandoah and went right into Front Royal and went to the Walmart in Front Royal. So we bypassed the Winchester Walmart. Devastator, that's too funny. Heading over to the neighbors tonight. Well, that's cool. That's what old Pleasant Valley. Yeah, the Pleasant Valley Walmart, exactly. Yeah, we went on into Front Royal. We didn't mess around with it.
Pleasant Valley has awesome clearance deals.
So if everything works out, next weekend I'll go back up to Shenandoah. So hopefully here soon, guys, we'll end up having one of the Fender standards where we can actually review. And I'm really curious to see how the Fender standard actually is. After watching some of these reviews on this guitar,
Mike wants to know how is your dot.
oh, I love the Dot. I haven't actually played the Dot in a little while. I should actually probably break that thing down and actually play it. It's probably been at least 5 weeks since I took it off the wall and played it. I love my Dot. I did a review on the Ibanez. I forget which Ibanez that was. It was AMH 90s, I think it was. And then I had one of the Firefly 338s. And I have since sold both of those, and I've got the Epiphone Dot now, and I'm very happy with the Dot. The Dot's not going anywhere. It speaks to me, you know.
Mike said I'll let you borrow the new Strat if you want to review that one.
Oh, that'll work. Yeah, I was thinking the standard was going to be more relevant right now, But by the time I get it, I'm pretty sure most of the YouTube channels are going to probably move on anyway from that. That seems to be something that was going on last week. Everyone was kicking the can down the road at Fender on it, an Indonesian Fender. And like I said earlier, Fender's been doing that for a long time, guys. My FMT is an Indonesian made Fender, and Fender's been making that guitar for 10 years. So this is not something new that Fender just started doing. It's not something new.
Ron says just don't let the white
That's it.
Nicholas said good night.
Yep. Okay, Nicholas. I'm glad you were able to join in on the chat. We're actually not going to be on too much longer, guys. I did 4 hours last night, and my throat's already, that's why I've been drinking so much. My throat is already starting to really kill me. Most live streams, the longest ones are about 2 hours. So last night really, whew, boy, that wiped me out. 4 hours straight of playing and talking. That was something else. I didn't even realize it. I kind of looked up and I'm like, holy mackerel, we've been on here for 4 hours.
Mike said 4 hours.
Yeah, exactly. 4 hours. And my throat really wasn't bothering me. And I was like, I'm starting to feel a little hoarse. And I looked up at my OBS window and it said 4 hours. I'm like, well, no wonder my throat feels bad. We've been sitting here and playing guitar and talking guitars and amps for 4 hours. I was like, this is crazy. And I ended the stream, I think it was 12:30 my time. It was crazy late. So it's just one of them things. I definitely can't do it tonight, guys.
Mike said it must have been a lot of fun at the time. Devastator said it was a good stream.
Yeah, we did. We had a good time. We were talking about all kinds of stuff. I think we talked about hot rods for a little while. I think sports was brought up. Of course, music, amps, tubes, guitars, straps. Oh yeah, we were talking about Devastator's got a strap on his guitar, and I said it looks like a bunch of patches. So that was about a 10 or 15 minute conversation over Devastator's guitar strap. So just little things like that.
Juke said I love the long live streams just because they started a little earlier.
Yeah, well, I got a Juke. For me, it's about 8:30 because I'm East Coast. But for Mike, it's earlier than that. I think Mike, he's an hour behind, and then we also have California. So if I start at 8:30, it could be 6:30 in California. So I got to kind of look at it both ways and try to find a comfortable medium. I don't want to start at 6, even though 6 would probably be better for me. It's not going to be better for the people out on the other side. Yeah, Mike says it's 8:19 there.
So he's 2 hours
So he's 2 hours
behind.
behind us. And see, it's 10:20 here. So that's why I try to between 8 and 8:30, because if I start then on Mike's end, I'm starting at 6. So on a Friday, I know at 6 o'clock I'm not ready to actually sit down and start my evening yet. By the time I get home and clean up and eat, it's going to be 7:30. So with a 2 hour stream, they can still, people mid-country, California, they can still kind of come in on the back part of the stream and get a little bit of the backside.
Devastator's an hour behind.
Yeah, Devastator says it's 9:20 there. So I think, 8 o'clock, 8:30, I can make that work. I get it, it's a little late. But I'm not going to do it on a Sunday because, of course, Monday I get up about 4:30 in the morning. So it makes it hard. If I was up live streaming for 4 straight hours and went to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning and then had to get up at 4:30, that would be a little rough. That might be a little too much. I think I'm getting too old to do that. I don't think I could do that for very long. But I do want to play this guitar just one or two more times. This thing, because probably after tonight, Linnell's not going to let me play it anymore. So I've got to get my playtime in on it since it's not my guitar. So let me.
Never said they make little blue pills for that. LOL.
Oh my gosh. Well, what's the other one? Cialis. Maybe I might have to do the Cialis. All right. Here's for Mike before he disappears. Mike wants to know what that first tone was. That center position. Mike, the center position, that's what I was just playing. That was the first tone. I think in the center position, it's splitting the bridge pickup and splitting the neck pickup. And you're getting one coil on each pickup. I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing. Because let me try the three positions. The second position, center position, and then the fourth position. So I'll start in the second position first.
go.
Okay, Mike, it was good getting you called in. That last position was position number 4. But yeah, I think the guitar's got a great sound, man. When you get some time, Mike, hit me up on Skype. Miss chatting with you through the week. Have a good night over at the neighbor's house. We've got those super hot summers here too. High humidity.
That's Jupe and Devastator talking.
Yep. Jupe and Devastator carrying on the conversation. Yep. If I remember, it's drier heat though, so not so humid. Yeah, where I'm at, this is a pretty medium climate here, guys. I'm in Virginia, Northern Virginia. So, when I was in the South, the humidity was pretty bad. But it's not overly dry here, and it's not overly humid here. So it's pretty decent.
Devastator's in Arkansas and Jupe's in Rhode Island.
Yeah. So I don't know what you guys think about that guitar on the sounds. I'm digging the pickups on it. I noticed Ron was saying the pickups in this guitar are Seymour Duncan. I don't know which Seymour Duncan pickups they are, but I'm gonna look up online and I will find out. They're usually pretty good. So I'm going to look up the ML1 Pro Modern and find out what pickups they used.
Ron said he thinks they're Pegasus.
Pegasus, Seymour Duncan Pegasus? It could be. But they do read Seymour Duncan on the front. And of course it come from the factory with a hip shot bridge. And something I don't know if I showed you guys, but this has open tuners. Look at the gears. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. See the gears? You can see the gears. They're pretty cool. Open back tuners. I like it. I like it. It's something different.
Ron said it's all stock.
Yeah, I mean that's a cool guitar. It is definitely a cool guitar. I think Linnell made a good choice on saying she wanted that guitar. So I definitely think she'll get years of enjoyment out of that guitar, without a doubt. And I see Steven's in the group now. I don't think I've seen him post earlier, unless he's been chilling out in the background and not saying nothing. All right, guys, I hate to say it, but tonight we're gonna only do a 2-hour stream. I really, my throat's really already hoarse.
Ron said it was the color, wasn't it?
Yes, actually, Ron, it was the color. As soon as she saw it, her eyeballs got big.
It wasn't just the color.
Well, she says it wasn't just the color. When we got home, she goes, I didn't want one with a whammy bar on it.
And I like the headstock.
And she likes the headstock. And Mike even said that too, earlier in the chat. Mike liked the headstock. Yeah, it's kind of cool with that. It's not really like a Fender Tele headstock. It's kind of its own little unique kind of shape. With it being upside down, kind of adds to the whole look of the guitar. It's kind of cool. I like it.
Jerry said Linnell said stop touching her guitar. Juke said Linnell, he's hugging your guitar too long.
Ha! Well, like I said, guys, tonight was my night to play it.
And Devastator said yes, they're Pegasus pickups.
Yeah, Pegasus
He
pickups.
must have looked it up.
Yeah, it's got a good sound to it. What I'm probably going to do, her black Firefly hangs on the wall right here. I don't think I'm going to put it there. What I'll probably do is I'm going to take my FFMN off the wall over here in the hallway, and I'll put her guitar right there. It'll be much easier for her to access it right there, and she won't have to lean over the amps because all the other guitars are behind the amps on that wall. That'll be difficult for her to get. So I'll probably take the FFMN off the wall and hang her guitar right here so she has access to it.
Ron said, well, night, and hope she enjoys it.
Oh, I'm sure she will, Ron. Yeah, there's no doubt of that. She likes the color and the headstock on it. And I'm going to go through and dial it in a little bit better for her. I already did the truss rod adjustment on it, and I actually changed the some of the saddle heights. So I'm going to have to double check the intonation on it. And I'm not going to do too much with it right now. I'm going to wait for the guitar to see how it responds to coming here. So probably in 30 days, once I know it's acclimated to the house, I'll set the intonation on it and give it a final tune.
Everybody's saying good night.
Yep. All right, guys. I appreciate everyone coming into the live streams. You guys make this possible. It's fun every time we get together and everyone comes in and hangs out and chats. That's what it's about.
Ron said see you at the store.
Yeah. Well, like I said, guys, I put my Skype address in the chat window somewhere up above or down here, wherever. Actually, I think it'd be over there or over there. Whichever way YouTube puts it. You go back up and look for it. You guys can send me a message on Skype. If I don't respond directly, just give me a day or two. It's not always open on the computer. But just put who you are and how you got the contact, and I'll message you back.
Jupe said you'd live stream every night, LOL.
Oh, I don't think I could do that, Jupe. At some point, I got to record content on reviews. So even really doing 2 nights a week, you can ask Lindell. There's many nights I just sit in here and edit videos when I'm doing reviews. It takes many nights of editing to do the reviews that I do. So it makes it difficult. But the 2 nights a week is cool. Like I think we talked about it. We'll do like a premiere or something goofy on Friday. But Saturday night will always be our live night. That's a definite. Friday's kind of up in the air, depending on whatever's going on. So, again, guys, hit the like button on the way out if you haven't already, and leave a comment down in the comment window, not necessarily the chat. YouTube does count chat, and it counts all the smiley faces. All the emojis you all put up, it counts all that on how interactive you are to the video. So everything makes YouTube happy, if that makes sense.
Jupe says he loves the learning experience.
I love just coming in here chatting with everybody. Everyone has a different outlook and a different experience, Jupe, and that's what's cool about it. Because Jerry might have an opinion, or he's bought a product that no one else has, and he can enlighten us on that. Jupe, you may have had a product that no one else has had, and you can tell us about it, and it helps everybody in the group. That's what it's about.
Jerry said not to mention the camaraderie.
Yeah, Steven says last night was epic. Well, hopefully tonight was entertaining as well. We just can't do 4 hours every time. All right, guys. Like I said, hit the like button on the way out, and thank you so much for coming in. And if you would, tell someone about the channel, tell someone about the live stream, and let's try to get the channel growth up and get more people in the live stream. The more people that come, the more fun it's going to be. All right, guys. Good night, and I'll see you all next Friday night.